This conference will now be recorded.
I forgot it. Okay. Now that's about this stuff. Okay. Anyhow, you know all this stuff. We had a detailed discussion. I think only just collections we have more than 10 to 15 hours of discussion. I didn't count the number of hours. But as far as I know, we have uploaded so far six sessions. Somebody is asking about numbers. I have uploaded according to the dates only. Okay, there is nothing to get confused. But still, I'll give numbering. Today or tomorrow, I'll provide numbering so that you don't need to get confused. Okay. So, next one. That's about this stuff. And we have to switch to the next topic. Tell me which topic should we take? Shall we go for functions or shall we go for files? Which one should I take up? So nested dictionaries. Okay, Shiva, not a problem. See, nested dictionary is a dictionary inside dictionary. We can have it, not a problem. He's asking me. Shiva is asking me something actually. So okay, Shiva, definitely we'll discuss. So nested dictionary means, you know, what do you mean by that? Dictionary inside dictionary. That's right. You can have it. See, you talk about collections. When you say collection, a collection can be like this. Like what? Let me tell you. Suppose you talk about list. List is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous in sense it can have list inside list. I have discussed this topic. You remember, right? Even tuple can have tuple inside that. Even tuple can have list inside. When we say heterogeneous, you can have what is that different types of data that can be a scalar data or a vector data. Okay, scalar in sense basic data types like int data, float data, or complex data, or boolean data, or string data. That's scalar. Okay, vector in sense like this, like you know, this collections. This kind even string comes into collections. Okay, okay. So the such data we call it as vector data. So we can have nesting like this, some one comma, one colon, ABC. Nested dictionaries comes like this. There is nothing. I don't think it's difficult to understand. Uh, but it has to be inside a dictionary. It has to be in the form of key and value base. 2:XYZ 3:. Okay. Here you might take one more dictionary inside this. Something like this. So for 3, I'm taking, suppose, let's differentiate like this. We'll take a small example which makes some sense for us. I'm taking some item details. One item name. Okay. Here I'm taking one more like this. Inside for 3, you know, I'm not taking this as a just normal simple value, but I'm taking it as a dictionary. Okay. What I'll do is I'll take some more. When it is a dictionary, it has to be in the form of key and value base. What shall I make it like? You know, let's take some random, you know, thing. Your key and value depends on, you know, it might be string or it might be int or it might be float. Depends on the requirement. Usually, I see keys might be strings or integers. Of being float or something different type is, you know, we see it in a very rare situations. A colon apple, something like B colon, just only for analysis purpose. That's all. B colon boy, something like this I'm giving. So you can see now. Can you see this now? We have a dictionary inside dictionary now. Can you see that? So such kind of you know, we can also have like this. And also sometimes, you know, in dictionary might not have only this type of data. You know, if you see 3 is having a dictionary. Suppose I take 4. You might have a list data inside dictionary also, like this four. You see, like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this also, it will be there in dictionary. You might have a tuple also sometimes, comma 5 colon. Okay, 1, 2, 3, something like this. You might have a set also sometimes. Okay, 6 colon. I'm just giving you all the different combinations, so that you don't get whenever you come across this kind of use cases, it's easy for you to follow. See, set instance, it should be in flower braces, but not key and value pairs, right? 1, 2, 3, like this. This is set. So, if you look at your dictionary, see how this is. Is it no, Shiva? You just only asked me for nested dictionary. Now we are with we have involved everything. Can you see it now? Are you able to observe this or not? Now, how do you extract this data? How do you extract it? Tell me. Okay, how do you extract it? Simple. We had discussed about methods yesterday, right? Yes, sir. No? Did we discuss methods? Suppose you can iterate it and get each value based on key. That is one possible choice. Okay. Anyhow, keys cannot be duplicated. That is a different story. I told you yesterday clearly. So there is nothing to worry about. But values can be duplicated. You know very well about it. Now, inside list you can have a dictionary also. That is also there, folks. List can have what we call again group of dictionaries, group of tuples. This can be combination, can be in different ways. This is how it works. So this is what you have to learn also. How to play with the combinational collections, because that's how you get data. Suppose you talk about JSON. Inside JSON, generally, when you talk about, I'm talking about from our project perspective. Usually, we get data in the form of JSON or CSV, okay, or sometimes text data, but mostly it will be JSON for us, okay, JSON or CSV. Now the point is, JSON. If you look at JSON, JSON have data in the form of same like dictionary, key and value piece. Now you have to iterate that data, extract that data, and you have to do something usually. And that JSON might have no your it might be a nested JSON. Nested JSON in sense like this, a dictionary inside dictionary. A JSON represents a record. Inside that record, sometimes to describe about, suppose you take about country. When you are giving country details, country might have country name, country code, something. Inside that, you might come across state. That state can be a nested dictionary again, a sub dictionary. State name, state code, okay, state location, something like that. Inside that, you can again take something like what you can take some district inside state. That can be a nested again. Like that, data can be keep on nesting. Got the point, right? So what is the point here? That is one thing in dictionary. Again, sometimes when you suppose you talk about marks, you are trying to take student details. Marks can be represented in the form of list. Inside that JSON, student name, student age, student marks. That student marks becomes a list again. I'm trying to give you a clear idea like how these collections will be organized, so that it gives better exposure to you. That is my point. Okay. So like this, if you have how you are going to iterate it, got it right? So point is, inside list or inside tuple or inside set or inside what is that, inside dictionary, you can have combinational data. You can have other collections inside them and also scalar data. Understood now? Bytes and byte array, they are fixed, they are homogeneous, they can have only integers. So that's why I'm not talking about it. Excuse me. So Now the point is, what is the point? How to iterate this and how to extract this data? Tell me, no? Already I taught you this, right? Now write a program. Write a program. Take a small assignment to iterate the above map. Iterate the map and display data from, there is a dictionary inside dictionary, there is a list inside dictionary, there is a tuple inside dictionary, there is a set inside dictionary, there are other values inside dictionary, and extract and merge all the merge all the collections into a, I don't want to miss data, okay, into a list. So you have to iterate this dictionary and copy all this data to a list. That is the requirement. Do it now. Do you want to try this? So, do you wish to try this, folks? Say yes if you want to try. Say no if you don't want to try. Okay. Then after this, I will switch to the next topic. That is, we'll switch to functions. Then we'll come to files. Is it fine? Shall we start functions after this, or shall we start files after this? We'll go for functions. Right, sir. Take 2 minutes and just try this program. Then I will just show you how to merge into. This is a simple program, not something difficult. All of you can try this. Let me show you how to try this. Okay, it's a simple program only. It's not something too difficult. Let's take this first of all dictionary. Open dictionary. So first take this requirement, okay. Now after this, you iterate it. You can get this data in different ways, okay. So now what I need is first iterate it for key comma value, okay. Even if you just get only values also, it's fine for us, not an issue, because we have to merge all this into what is that into a single list, okay. So but merge in sense, you know what do you mean by merge, right? Don't add map as map, don't add array as array or list as list, don't add tuple as tuple. You have to flatten it. You know what is flattening? Flattening means what? You have to extract each value from the collection and put it into a list like that. So you can also directly get values and check what type of data is that. Then what you can do, you can just merge it to take one list here. So something like I say some data equal, this is my list. So now for v in d dot values, you don't need items here actually. This time it's not necessary also. D dot values colon. So what I should do now? Every time I should check what is this v. Is it a string? Is it a list? Is it a tuple? Is it a set or is it a map? Okay, I mean dictionary. So how do I do it? So if v equal to what shall I start? Maybe I can start saying str. Okay. That is a class, right? So what should we do now? Because if it is str, I don't need to iterate it because string is just a whole value, single element, so we don't need to iterate it, nothing to do. So we can say data dot append of v. Elif if v equal to dict, this we have to iterate, folks. If it is a dict, there is no other choice for us. It is a dict, then what should we do right now? Then we should first of all you should get again, if it is dict, again you have to get values from the. So you don't need keys here. See, whenever you are adding data from dictionary, it's not the keys which we add, it's the values which we add to the, we try to get the from the dictionary. Got it, right? So how do you get it? Then again same story, for we have to iterate it one more time for I in. So for values v in or v1 in, if you get confused, if you don't want to get confused, if v1 in v dot, suppose if it is a dictionary, so what is the point here? We have to get the values from that dictionary. Now that values we have to append to data dot. Are you following, guys? Append of this v1. Elif, if it is a set, if it is a list actually. So if v equal to list, okay, the local variable might be same or different. It's up to you. You know that there is nothing to worry about local dummy variable. You can use it, repeat it. Or if you think that set give different local variables, then we can do that also. Maybe you can give v2 here. If it is list, how do you get list? For list, you don't need to apply these functions, values or that. Just directly do this and then append it to this one, next one. Elif, list is over. Next, tuple. If v equal to tuple, okay, then again, if it is tuple also same story, right? Just iterate it and append to which one? v3 in v, append of v3 and else, because I believe the remaining is just set itself. So what you do, you don't need to compare, but still if you want to be make sense, you can apply one more elif, that it's up to you. Okay, now if else for v4 in v, because as it is just set is collection of elements without duplicates, you can just directly iterate it, append of v4. So that's how we can merge data into a list. No, so just print data. So you can play in different ways, folks. When you are writing a code, can you see there? Just see and tell me. The whole data got merged there. A, B, C. Okay, then X, Y, Z. Oh, what happened? String also got what is that? Because string is a collection. When you pass to for loop, what happens? String gets iterated. That's what happened. I understand. So we can do one thing. Somewhere we have iterated directly. Remove this. Okay, of course. I can do something like this. Because that is not right way of appending data. If it is a string, it has to be appended like string only. So what choice do I have then? So I thought just directly extract data and no. But if it is XYZ, what's happening here? Should I get keys in such case? Shall I extract keys first and then based on keys? If V is a key, then we have to say D of V. For string, then what we can do? And of course, all keys are integers here. That is also not correct comparison. So what should I do now? If D of V, because we extract value through key, right, equal to string. Then if D of V equal to dictionary, let me try this way. If D of V equal to list, if D of V, right, equal to this like this. Okay. Now let me run this. V4. Okay, okay. Else, last one is 6, right? Hmm. And D of V. Because we should say, that we should extract that value based on key. Let me run this. Still, it's trying to get it. This is not the expectation. There is something missing. What is that? Number wise, it's fine, but the strings I'm getting a split here. I don't want to split them. Somewhere I'm iterating. Okay, let me run this. ABC, XYZ, AB. Getting just only keys here. Okay. Hmm. Let's assume that I'll fix it, guys, because we have done it, but only it is a matter of time. Okay, so when you say values, it returns all the list of values. Okay, let me first of all debug this. Something is missing. That's what. Give me just 2 minutes. I know. So this is perfect. This is what we are expecting. Okay, fine. So I'm just debugging. See how I am going to fix it. Definitely, I'll fix this. I'm sure. Okay, the issue is coming from here. Might be I'll do one thing. Yeah, there is one more. For some reason, it is trying to iterate everything. If v equal to set, this should be fine for us. So
Sir, you have to put type of V.
yes, exactly, Kamal. That's what I am missing. No. Thank you, Kamal. I'm just only trying to compare what is that v here. Yes, yes. So somehow I forgot the type part. Correct. Okay. Type of v is this. Type of v is this. Yes, true. Now it should be perfect. Let me run this. Okay. I think now we got perfect output, right? Can you see there? So the mistake is the typo is this, not typo. So this is what I forget, folks. Sometimes this happens. The type thing I forgot. So I'm expecting all these values to be in. So somehow I'm seeing a split in string, split in all that. Now this is perfect. So we got the expected output. So this is the output. Thanks, Kamal. Thanks for input. Yes, now the output is perfect. Let me remove this print here. So that's how what we can do is whenever now this is what I am expecting. Got it right? So in the first go itself, it's perfect. The only thing is type. The type part I forget. That is something which sometimes it happens. Clear, right? All of you? Thank you. So what else do we try here? Next, that's after that. Let's switch to the next program, next topic, not program. I want to switch to next topic. So then we'll just keep that program here, just for documentation purpose. So that's about what is that one more use case nested. Shiva, I think Shiva had brought in this requirement. So how to deal with nested dictionaries? Shiva, are you there? So is it clear, Shiva? That is your question. To answer your question, we have, sorry, I somehow I forget type. It happens sometimes. This happens while doing development also. We forget very minute things and searching somewhere. And after doing so much of searching, we come and understand the foolish mistake we do. This is a foolish mistake. Okay, now let's switch to the next requirement. functions, very important topic, very useful also. There also will do a lot of different ways of implementing logic with functions. Okay, how to play with it. And now we are doing core Python. When you really know how to play with core Python, because logic building, everything is there here only. Object oriented programming, you just put all this inside a class and you make it as a one wrapper. It's like what we call is, it's like having a cover, like a chip packet. Class is like a chip packet. Inside chip is like your function. This chips, all that is like a function or data. Okay, so putting cover is not difficult. Understanding what has to be there inside that is something which you should learn. Thank you, Kamal, one more time, because I was just missing out that and searching something else, and I didn't even check the chart. Also, some of our other friends also have solved it. Now moving to the next topic. What is that? I think we have finished. I told you yesterday. Just okay. There are quick updates. Update part. Update you can try, sir. Already I have explained same in list, which is extended. In set also we have learned type update. Suppose if you want to merge two dictionaries, you try this. This is D is dictionary 1, D1 is dictionary 2. I want to merge both. Just use update like this. Test it, sir. Test it yourself. Set default is just if you want to set some default value to a particular key which you want to preserve it for future, maybe you can overwrite it. So that is this set default. Okay. So before you use some some keys, you assign some values to that. Like in maths, assume that x equal to 0. Then that 0 might be, after doing some calculation, you might overwrite it, isn't it or not? That is the set default, something like that. Suppose 1 is there, I set with 1 here. Sorry, I set with e here. So that's how it works. Got it right? And you preserve, just only declare and initialize, and you use it for future purpose. That's all. That is the point about set default. This is one more last use case on this. It might be useful for you guys. What is that last use case here? So this one, you can see here, there are two sets. Sorry, two lists. How to iterate two lists simultaneously? See, you can iterate a map by applying items together, but you don't know. So far, we didn't discuss this use case. How to iterate two lists parallelly? For that, we use a zip function. Which function? Zip. So how do you apply zip here? Simple. It's very simple. You can try this example also. Take two lists. Suppose the requirement is this: I have keys and I have values. Suppose I want to generate a dictionary from these two lists. One list has a set of keys. One list has set of values. Now I have to merge this into a dictionary. Requirement clear? Already we know, we have idea about dictionaries, right? Why don't we try this example? Then we'll switch to, is there anything else we need to discuss? I think we almost have finished it. Yeah, we have almost closed up the requirements. And few functions here and there that might be there. With all this knowledge, now Googling is not something too difficult for you also. So will you try this now? This is the requirement, guys. Why don't you try this? Write a program. What is this program? To merge two lists into a single dictionary. This first list is set of keys, second list is set of values. You have to associate one with A, two with B, three with C, and four with D, and five with E. Do you get it? Dict comprehension is not there, Vera. We don't have dict comprehension. We have list comprehension, we have tuple comprehension, but there is no dict comprehension. Got it right? So you try this example. Anyhow, thanks for asking these kind of questions. Definitely, that gives us to explore more into this, Python thing. Will you try this example now? Prepare a dictionary from the existing list. Associate, map both the lists and create a dictionary now. Write a program to prepare a dictionary from the above two lists. Come on. Try this. Do you want to try or shall I just finish it quickly? Yes or no, sir? Say yes if you want to try. Say no if I should try. Yeah, super Kamal. Folks, Kamal is just a kid. He is just an 8th standard student who is enthusiastic Python learner. Not just only Python. He do lots of other stuff also. He is a small prodigy. Shall I try this, folks? It's a simple program only for you. I see most of you are enthusiastics here. So definitely you can try this. This kind of problems you can solve without much difficulty. Okay, I'm just solving this small program because this is not something too difficult also. Two lists. Apply zip function. How to apply zip? Just now I have shown you. Just for solving purpose, we have removed it. Did we copy and paste this example? We preserved it. Okay, it is preserved. Nothing to worry. Now let us just solve this program. Add those data here. Not the problem. You need the inputs. So the inputs are keys and values. Okay, key and values are there. Okay, let's put it here. Now iterate it for k comma v in zip of keys comma values colon. What shall we do right now? It's simple, right? Declare one empty dictionary first of all. Some d equal to some empty dictionary, and then d of k equal to right how to add pair by pair equal to v. Then print of d. So now run this. Got it right? Perfect. So this is how you can play with the which one? You can play with the zip function. Got clarity now? So let me just copy this. Now these are all different use cases which might help you in your day-to-day coding in projects. I told you, somebody is asking, sir, do we do a project? See, all these use cases, if you really work with all these use cases properly, this is more than enough for you to kickstart your project directly. Trust me. That's all, guys. That's about collection part. If anything is there, anyhow, we have almost covered more than sufficient our collections. Maybe if you don't believe me, I'm telling you, you can go and compare with any very good, online tutorials. Maybe it might be any kind of, very popular. See if they have this, if they have given so much of information. If anything is missing, come to me and tell me. But I am confident we have given the best. Okay, next one, functions. Let me just check it and start functions topic. Then we'll switch to files also, and we'll play with the. So don't we have functions? Okay, let's see here. What is a function? Need more assignments. Sir, median program. Okay, somebody is asking. Yeah, we'll come back, Sandeep. It's not over. Sandeep, we are going to cover again exclusively machine learning algorithms one by one, so that it will be fine for us. Okay. We'll come back and I'll just give a list of all statistical algorithms we should work with, so that we'll solve one by one. It's that is actually one of my primary agenda in the course. Now functions, let's start. What is a function? It's not, you don't need to say box or packet. This is something too bookish. So what is a function? See, folks, so far, from the past 1 month or 1.5 months, I don't exactly remember how many days we have done. But whatever you have learned, all that code goes into this function only. So far, whatever we have done is without a function. But in a real-time code, using functions is one of the most recommended approach, recommended process, because the advantage, what is a function here exactly? First, let's understand that. It's simple, folks. Function is a small program, is a subprogram, or part of a module, a small module, which has a reusable code that we can use again and again, call again and again. Just write once and call it any number of times. It's like appointing a worker at home. Once you appoint one worker, every day the same worker will come and do some activities at home and go home. Same thing, function is like that. It has a reusable code, a collection of statements which are reusable. That is a function, simply speaking. So, a function is a subprogram which performs a specific task. Is a subprogram or collection of statements. It has collection of statements. Statements means just your instructions, which are reusable and performs a specific task. Excuse me. Okay, next one. Advantages of functions. Okay, we'll see with examples, nothing to worry. I'll give a very detailed analysis. Here our discussion is more of for built-in, not built-in, user-defined functions. Built-in anyhow, we have an idea, we have discussed, and you can implement them. Okay, next. Advantages of functions. Why do we need functions? Okay, here functions are reusable. Means once you write a code in function, you can call it again and again. Yesterday, somewhere, we are doing one logic. If you remember, I told you we will tune this code with the. I'll just show you that code also. Today we will tune it. If time is there, we will tune. Otherwise, in the next session, next weekend, we will tune. See, I'll just show you. Somewhere we put it yesterday. No, you remember, right? That numbers, right? 1, 2, 3. I told you. So that I told we can tune it with the function also. Instead of writing so many lines, if we just write a single line in function, still we can manage that. You remember, right? Anyhow, I don't want to waste your time here. Let me switch to the discussion. I will show you. Nothing to worry. How do we avoid this repetition? We can avoid repetition of code with functions. Something which you declare again and again, again and again. Such kind of code, put it into your function so that you can reduce the length of the code. That is the advantage. And also, we can have a thorough modularization of code with functions. Suppose when you are using function, one greatest advantage is modularization. Modularization. Okay, that is one more advantage. So reduces length of code. Of course, see, when you use function reduces the length of code. Next one, debugging. Suppose if you have any errors, it's easy to go and fix the error if you have modularized code. If you have divided it into modules, okay, because whenever there is an error, it will tell you have an exception in so and so function, so that it's easy for you to go and fix the exception in that particular function. So debugging becomes easy for us with functions. Okay, and usually in any language, not just Python, folks, we have two types of functions: built-in and user-defined. Okay, built-in means existing. You have done so many built-in functions so far. At least you have done more than 100 built-in functions, if I am not. If you start discussing from strings and from all the collections what we have discussed there, the API part, almost we have covered more than 100 functions, if I am not wrong. Might be if not here and there, near to 100 functions. Built-in means existing. We just directly use them, like like min, max, id, type, okay, square root. I didn't introduce mathematical functions. Even I'll introduce that in modules. Okay, so that's what a function is here. Understood? No, built-in functions where they were already defined, and our just responsibilities just need to understand how it works and how to use it in the code. Okay, so that's it. Next, user-defined functions. This is what we have to focus now. Functions which are defined by the developer. So you have to write a lot of customized functions. Suppose you are working in a very big project, so or if you are working in any small project also, not like big project. Okay, even if you work in a small project also, anytime from time to time, you have to keep writing code using functions. That is a very good habit because that gives you a proper modularization. Okay, so now, so what do you do then? So what is that we should do right now? Tell me. Here, when you talk about user defined, you have to create your own functions. How do you do that? And this again, this is of two types. This user defined. One is default and parameterized. Not just only in Python. Starting from C, in any language, it is the same. Following? So we have two types of functions here, default and parameterized. Now our focus is how we write our own function. That is the focus point. Okay? So let's just understand how to implement it. One thing in Python is like in other languages, like in Java, C, C++, we don't have data types, right? You know that very clearly. Do you have data types? Tell me yes, sir. Then, if you don't have a data type, you don't need to define parameters with function. No, that data type with parameters with functions. Means, I will explain slowly. Don't worry about it. So now switch to the topic. How do you define a function? There are two types here. Okay. We have two types of functions. One is default. Another one is parameterized. What is default, sir? A function without parameters. What is this function without parameters? We'll see one by one slowly. Okay. For example, the syntax look like this. One thing you have to keep in mind is to define function in Python, we must and should use this keyword called def. Is define. How do you use it? Something like this: def, your function name or method name. Then for default, you don't have any parameters in the parentheses. Here, indentation and statements. This is how you define a default function in Python. Can you see this now? Are you following, folks? Okay. So how do you define a function? Just function name and then statements. Before that, put this def. And a function should have this parenthesis. What is that? Function should have. Without parenthesis, it is not a function. Without bracket. Okay. And inside this bracket, if you observe carefully, did I declare any variables here? Any parameters? Yes or no? No. So this is default function. Function without parameters. No parameters in this parenthesis. That is default. Okay. So what do you do right now? Got clarity? So for example, suppose I want to define a small function. It's like this, okay? Def some f1 parenthesis some print statement here. So print hello. This is a very small function, but small example for it. Okay. So that is idea about how to declare a function. So function name, parenthesis, and then statements. Before that, put def. Def is must here in Python. And there is no return type here like in other languages. Suppose if you are coming from C, C++, Java, you have return type space, function name space, like that. But there is no return type, direct return type. Of course, you can return values. There is nothing to worry about it. I'll make you to understand in all different angles to understand this functions. If you don't have a return type, it doesn't mean that we don't return values. Functions should return values. We'll talk on that little later because there is not right time to introduce that. First, let us understand what exactly is a function. Function is a simple program, small program, a module where you put your code in that, and that code you can call it again and again. That's simple. That is function. And how do you define it? It has to be defined with def keyword. And then put a name, a meaningful name. Use a meaningful name. Depend on the type of logic we implement. Okay, functions inside that has some logic. Based on that logic, suppose you are doing sum of two numbers. Name your function as add or sum. You are finding some excuse me, area of some quadrilateral. Name it as area. Okay, something like that. A meaningful name to a function is always a good habit. Okay, so that this is fine. This is how you define a function. Let me just show you here. Okay, I'll just show you a small piece of code now. Just define a small function def, a function name. I'm just giving f1 colon, just print okay, welcome to functions. Okay, then how to run this then? Do you think if I execute this code, you get the output? No. You have to call a function. Once you define a function, you should call it. And how do you call it? Syntax wise, it is like this. How to call a function? Let me just show you. Just function name, paralysis. That's it. We don't need to do anything here. If it is other languages, you should put semicolon. But as Python is it has type inference, you don't need to put semicolons. You don't need to use data types. Okay, just you need to call that, because once you define a function, you should execute that. You have to call that. Are you following? Without calling, a function never gets executed. So what? How do you call it? See, function has a name. Just call that with that name. Wherever you want, you call it with that name. Suppose in a code, somewhere in some part of code, you need to call a function which returns some output. So what you need to do, you have to just call it there. I'll show you how to include function calls in a code also. Okay. So this is simple analysis. So how here in this very small program, how should I call this function? I have clearly given you the syntax. I'm going a little slow because this is the very basic fundamental part. So that's why. Just function name parenthesis. So open this. What's your function name? F1 parenthesis. Now this is ready to run. This time it will run. But if you remove that caller, this is called caller, function caller. This is called function. As per terminology, this is a caller. And this is a called function. Which function? Called function. Then just run this. Okay. Run like this. You got it. Welcome to function. Suppose if I just comment it run. Now run this. I had commented. Hash is a single line comment in Python. If you want multi-line comments, use triple quotes. That's string. Do I get any output right now? Because I have commented the caller. Without caller, a function never gets executed. Do you understand this? Is it clear, folks? So anyhow, let's say Control Z here. Just run the program. Welcome to functions. Got an idea about simple default function. Now we'll do few small assignments. Okay. Are you ready? Let's try this now. So now here, if you see this, write a program. Now take small assignments, not something too difficult assignments, just to get in, get that practice how to deal with functions. Write a program. Use default function. Then when we switch to parameterized, then you can apply parameterized function. Write a program to find sum of two numbers using a function. Okay, then I'll give two more programs. Then practice them. That's all. Write a program to find area of a triangle using function. Area of a triangle. Just only for practice. These are not difficult programs. Okay. Triangle, rectangle, circle. Okay. You can take few more. That's your up to you. You try this. Then these are enough just to get some practice, good practice. Hardly it will take 1 minute or 2 minutes to close all these programs. Just take 2 minutes, solve them, then we'll switch to the next topic. That is parameterized functions. And today we will do up to 11:30 because after that again I have some other assignment to complete. So yeah, superb, Kamal. Same next week also same timing, sir. It will start from 10 only. Every week we take one topic and keep working. This continues, sir. This free sessions keep going, and we keep doing. After this also, if you are interested, we keep solving some problems based on workshop kind of activities we are planning. Not now. After 2 months, once we finish this course completely. Yeah, let me solve all these programs first, okay? Sir, the introduction is clear to all of you? Function introduction is clear or not? How to declare a function, how to call it? Usually we put a business logic inside a function. Is that clear for all of you? If you want me to repeat, don't hesitate to ask me. You can ask me to repeat also, sir. Okay. So let me just do sum of two numbers. You can name it as some add like that. F1 is fine, not a problem. So here, what we can do, add, then say just take one variable, some r equal to, sorry, a equal to 10, b equal to 20, c equal to a plus b. Let's see. Now if you see, what are the code we write without function, we put inside a function here, if you observe carefully, isn't it? But the difference is, if you put inside function, you can call it 100 times, but just need to define only one time. You don't need to define 4 statements every time. Got my point? Do you understand? What is that? Without function, suppose if I want addition for 10 times, I have to write 10 into 4, 40 lines of. If I have a function, I just need to define function once like that. And after that, just a call. So 10 calls means, so assume that every caller is one statement. Okay, so 10 statements for callers, and including function definition, 5 statements here, 15 statements. So 40 statements became 15 now. Are we reducing the code or not? Got it, right? That's how functions are useful to us. Next one. Let's just call this add. Save this, run this. 30. Ready for next one? Area of triangle, rectangle, circle. Just simply say half base into height. Means 1 by 1 double slash 2, sorry, 1 by 2 into b into r, a into b, anything is fine. Run it. Call this as area. If anybody has issues, sir, you can ask me, sir, because what is the point is, you should have a clear idea. This is area of a triangle. We have done all this. Area of a rectangle, just a into b. Area of a circle. So what is that? You need just radius. You can give it as a decimal also, sir. It's not like it should be integer. It can be decimal as well. So result is right, pi r square. What do you mean by pi? You can say 3.14 into r into r. And then just print this. So this is about what? This is about simple default functions. You know what is a default function here now? Yeah, we pass runtime parameters. Shiva, that is next topic. Let's go by topic, okay? Let's not get confused at a time with everything, okay? So now, this is simple idea, how to just work with the default functions. A function without parameter, here if you see, this is default, but not every time these functions are useful to us. I don't say these are not useless, these are useless, but sometimes, we need to pass parameter from a caller to a function. Your function should accept some inputs and implement some business logic using those inputs. In such case, we have to go for parameterized functions. That is next topic. Okay. So what is a parameterized function? Let's see this. A function with parameters. What is parameterized? Function. So it's something like this. A function with the parameters. Why do we need parameterized function? The purpose of parameterized function is used to implement parameter passing. Passing values from one function to another function, from one class to another class, one object to another object. So in that way, parameterized functions are very useful to us. Maybe if you remember, we have implemented collections. Most of the functions you have applied in API of functions are parameterized. I mean in collections are parameterized. You remember, right? You use certain functions. If you remember, you have used applied functions on collections. You remember, right? Suppose you remember, just here if you say items, d dot items here, this is default function. What is this? This is default function. Values, default function. Keys, default function. No parameters inside. You remember, right? Suppose if you see length function, you remember, right? Some length of d. This is parameterized. How this is defined? This kind of functions are defined. If you see, the length of dictionary is 3 here. Understood? Max of d like this. This is parameterized. Min of d. This is parameterized. Can you see this now? How to define such functions? These are all parameterized. But items, keys, values, all these are default functions. Okay. Now, a function with parameters, how do you define this? It's a simple thing, same thing. You can see the syntax here. See, there is no much big difference between default and parameterized. The only difference is here you have parameters in the parentheses, and for default function, no parameters. We cannot pass parameters to default function, but we can pass parameters to parameterized function. Docstring means it's just a comment. Okay, you can put it or you can ignore it. That's it. It's up to you. Return means you can return some values. Okay, return anyhow. I'll talk about it after getting clear idea about parameterized functions. Okay. Next one. Is it clear to all of you? Yes, sir. So let us take a small parameterized function. I'll just show you how it works. You got clarity, right? So the syntax look like this. Let me give you more detailed syntax. This syntax is a bit generic. It's something like this: variable 1 comma var2 comma var3 like this. Dot dot dot. You can put how many ever parameters you want. Then how to call this? You have to call like this. The syntax look like this. How to call? Just simple function name. Here some value one comma. You have to pass value sir. Value 2, value 3 like this comma dot dot dot. Parenthesis close. That's all. So here you can directly pass parameters in the parentheses. How many ever you want, based on that you have to declare that many parameters. And here in the function call you have to pass values to these parameters. Understood? So let's just see this now. Example, one small example. I'm just using a small example. Function f1 I'm passing two parameters to this, just AB. Here you don't need any data types, sir, like in Java, C++. So that is one confusing for many people. But for Python, it is free form. Anybody can understand, anybody can learn it very easily. Okay, so I'm just printing both. I'm not doing anything else here for now. Printing just this is a simple parameterized function which just takes two parameters. Okay. Now, while calling this, I should pass two parameters. How? Like one command like this. Then go to run and just run one. Of course. Function name is F1, right? Should I use F1 or not? You see this? How many parameters are here too? So I should pass two values from the caller. Can you see this now? What you pass is up to you. What you pass is up to you. Whether you pass integers or float or double or float or complex or boolean, it's up to you. Or even a collection, you can pass collections. But the point is, this function is declared with two parameters. Then when calling, you should pass two values to that. That is very important. Is that clear? So that's what Shiva is asking. Shiva, is this what you are asking? Are you there, Shiva? Now run this. Got 1, 2? So that's it. Clear now? You do one thing, just for practice purpose. Rewrite, what is that? Sir, I did not understand. Can you please explain again? Okay, Kamal, sure. So do you understand default function, Kamal? So parameterized means a function with parameters. Okay. Generally, you have to define like this. You have to put parameters here. Okay, these variables within this parenthesis, we call them as parameters. Is it clear? Do you understand this? But how did it help? Okay. See, that's what, right? I just have discussed it. I had given a small example here, Kamal. Suppose you see, I'm just giving you some out of box example, not within this, discussion. If you see here, length function. Do you have idea about length function, Kamal? So if you see here, length of d, it is a parameterized function. If I should find how this length function is useful, suppose if I give input as some collection, it returns me how many elements are there in that, isn't it or not? Means for this, if I am giving some input as a value, it will find the number of elements inside that collection and return to me. This is a parameterized function. Okay. Means what is the advantage? A parameterized function takes the input from the user and apply some logic on that and give you some result back. That is the advantage of parameterized functions. You got the point? Clear now? Then it's fine. So that is the purpose of parameterized functions. Okay. Suppose for default function you cannot pass any value, Kamal. They just apply some basic functionality and return some result. I don't say default is useless. They are also used in some kind of use cases. But parameterized functions are exclusively required whenever you need to do business logic. You need to implement business logic based on some inputs. Then we have to prefer parameterized. If you don't need any inputs, just you need to implement some common logic. then go for default functions. Okay. So anyhow, now see, in the very beginning, we cannot understand where this is applicable. See, this is very fundamental, right? When we start discussing the fundamental, exactly, first understand how this parameterized function work. Later on, you apply it somewhere, then you get some basic idea. Now we are not applying, we are learning. There is a difference between applying and learning. Got it right, Kamal? So first understand, learn, get clarity, then apply it. That's how you have to proceed. So this is idea about parameterized functions. Anybody has questions on this? So you get output like this. Now you do one thing. Rewrite the small programs which I ask you for default with parameterized. Write a program to find sum of two numbers using parameterized functions. Same thing you try for remaining also. So you try these samples. For sum of two numbers, your function should be defined with how many parameters? Two parameters. For triangle, two parameters. For rectangle, two parameters. For circle, one parameter. You should know how many parameters you should pass. Suppose if I want to implement some business logic, that logic demands some exclusively some inputs. Only that inputs you should pass as parameters. Not every variable you should pass as parameter. You got this point, right? All of you. Sir, are you following me? Folks from online, are you following? Okay, please just solve this just for practice purpose.
Sir, I can't hear you.
I'm in mute, Kamal. I didn't. No, I didn't talk anything here so far. You to implement these programs. I hope all of you had finished solving this, right? These are simple programs, sir. There is nothing difficult here. Sum of two numbers, you can use the same. Just here, you can take one resultant variable, something like r equal to a plus b. Okay, then you can just print it, print of r. Generally, we should return value, sir. But now I am just trying to show you how to print in the same function. But later on, we'll learn how to return values because that is what is necessary in a real-time code. Understood, right? So because if you just print in the same function, that is not going to help us much in real-time project. The purpose of function is you give some input to the function, it will execute some business logic, and that result you need it somewhere in the code. You have to again populate that code somewhere, because based on that result, you do some other process. That's how functions are useful to us. Suppose, for example, if you remember, while processing your collection programs, to iterate that collection, first of all, I need to know how many elements are there. Then I found length of that collection. Then based on length, we iterated. You remember, right? That length returns some value. Yes or no? So that we iterated, and what is that? Based on the length value, we have iterated the collection and done some process, isn't it or not? Might be we found addition of all values of length, of the collection or something else like that. You remember, right? So that's how parameterized functions are useful. Got it, right? So it has to return result. It should not keep result with itself. Okay. And print is not recommended in all the cases. Okay. But anyhow, for now, learning it's recommended. So just call this, return, print it there. Just run the program. Run. You got 3. This is the idea about what? Sum of two numbers. Next one, area of a triangle. Just here say 1 by 2 into a into b. That is enough. Just run this. This is area of a triangle. Area of a rectangle, you know, sir. How to take it? Just simply say a into b. Area of a circle, pi r square. Just one parameter is necessary if it is area of circle. You don't need two parameters, just radius. If it is, you don't need to put r. If you know what you are doing, one parameter is required, which is radius. If you want, you can make r. That's not something wrong. If no, to make it more readable, you can use meaningful names. But it's up to you. Here already again one more r is there. Don't conflict two variables. You take it as some res equal to some 3.14 into. Sir, I have already discussed this. That's why I'm just going, directly applying it. I don't think you have any issues with this, right? Run it. Okay. No problem. There is something which I am missing. 3.14 into r into r. So here you can see why the error is. How many parameters are here, folks? How many? 1. How many I am passing? 2. So actually, when you are using parameterized function, number of parameters in the function and number of values you are passing should match. Okay, that is very important. So if it is not matching, what happens? It leads to error. Got it, right? Following, sir. What happens? It leads to error here. Understood? So what should I do? Let me just reduce this to one parameter. Now run this. Got it, right? Perfect. This is idea about what, sir? Default and parameterized functions. Got some clarity, sir, or any questions, confusion? Kamal, are you good? And one more thing, before we stop today, Yesterday, one of my old student, I think he is in the session, I hope, Naveen. He has a requirement from his known people. Okay. Then they gave three problems to him. If he solves those, they call those as three projects. But when I look at them, I found it, they are not projects, they are just very basic programs. Then what is the point? If he can solve those three problems, he will get a job. Okay. So I will give you two problems now because the other problem is related to files. I didn't discuss files. I'm very much confident that all of you in this session can solve these problems. The guy who gave problems to Naveen, they told if you can solve these problems, then you can work anywhere on Python. So why don't we try it ourselves now here? Shall we? I had already tried it. Okay. Are you ready for that now? I'll just give those two problems to you also. I'm pretty much confident about you because you are my students. You can solve it. Okay. So let us try those examples. Requirement is like this. This is very basic. You don't even think that is that difficult. Problem one. You try this first. Meanwhile, I'll give the other requirement also. Now you can also understand now. The input has to be like this. This is a program. Input is like this, like 10, 23, 5, 4. Like this, you have to give it like in the form of a string. 5. This you should input from keyboard. Don't give direct values. Dynamic input. Okay. Output has to be like this. What is that? 10 is a even number. 23 is a odd number. This is the requirement. This is a project they told. But after looking at I felt it's not project. It's just a very basic program. 5 is a odd number like this. You have to give print. 4 is even number. Again 5 is odd number like that. Try this program now. This is the input, that is output. Okay, try this now. This is one project. They call this as a hash project one. This has to be, the whole input has to be in one line, that you have to make it as a string. You understand the problem, right, folks? We are doing a bit of small hackathon program now. Hackathon. See, every day, if you just keep doing programs, very basic to little medium, slowly, if you can increase complexity, see, automatically you will become genius, sir. Programming doesn't come from, not only intelligent people do coding. Everybody can do programming. Only it is a matter of practice. That's all. If you don't believe, you keep attending these sessions regularly for next 2 months. If you don't have any improvement in you, then you can come and tell whatever you want to tell to. That is one problem. But I'm pretty much confident you people can, because we have done, see, every day at least we'll solve some more than 5 to 10 problems. If it is small or medium level, we'll solve at least 10 to 15. If it is some more discussion is required, we are doing at least 5 to 10 every day. Shiva, that whole input has to be in a string, just one line, and you are trying to convert it to integer. I don't know. If you just say int of, you will get an exception. So how many of you think this is difficult program? Just tell yes, sir, if it is difficult. How many of you think it is difficult? Yes for difficult, no for okay, medium or easy. Now you solve it. I'll give one more interesting example. I didn't get any answer from any one of you. Nobody posted your output. Shall I try it now? Shall I try? No. Tell me yes or no, sir. Somebody give me some. Okay, you want to try? Try it then. No problem. Vinod, did you execute the code? You have to input multiple values in single line, not one value. Separated with comma. That's possible only if it is a string. Did you run the code? Vinod Krishnan. Not like that, Kamal. Your input should not be like that. I told you how to input from keyboard. Still, even this is not going to work because you don't divide a string by 2. It has to be an integer. That is one more thing. Okay. I think it's time for me to do this. Let me show you. Okay. After doing so many programs, this is not something too difficult. Observe here carefully. Take some input, some n equal to, make it a string itself. No need of, don't apply casting at this stage. So enter string, enter input string. And as per the project, it has to be like this. I told you. Okay. Now, when you input it, the requirement, the project look like this. Your input should come like this. And this is a string, right? With group of values. Then what should I do now? In this string, I have to check whether every value is even or odd. If I should do that, first I should split every number by comma. Right? What should I do now? I should split it. So here, we should assume that, okay, because splitting is required. When you have group of values in, say, multiple values in one string, and we should split all these numbers with comma. So what you do, go here. So you say some numbers equal to, it returns a list, right? When you apply split on string, it returns list of values, whatever it is. It might be string or whatever it is. It returns list of values. So n dot split by comma. Then this numbers has all, what does it has? It has all list of string, numeric strings. What strings it has? Maybe if you want, just print and check it out quickly. Print of numbers. Now we have to convert each number to integer and check whether it is even or not. Can you see? This is something 10 comma 5 comma 4 comma 3 comma some 90 190 like this. Now you got a list like this. This is what they are expecting as input. The project is expecting input like this in this format. So what should we do right now? Now we should iterate this list. These are all numeric strings. Check carefully and apply casting to integer and check whether it is even or odd like this. I'll just show you. For I in numbers. Okay. Now, as we know, every number is integer. You can directly apply. Every number is numeric string. Okay, integer string. Otherwise, apply casting directly to int. So here, some x equal to int of I. Okay, now if x percentile 2 equal to 0, then print x comma is even number. Excuse me. Else x is odd number. Okay, run module 10 comma 5 comma 3 comma anything like this in this sequence, some 20 like this. This is how you should get output. Got it right? Understood, folks? This is project 1. Clear? So next one. I think Naveen, now you got some idea, right? Project 2. Ready for project 2? Ping me whether you are curious to do one more project. Yes or no, sir? Only 2 is giving me yes. What about others? Okay. So at least I'm hearing that interest from you. I'm seeing that interest. That is what I'm looking for actually. Okay. Next project. That is also a bit interesting. You can try this. You can also do this, sir. All of you tried it? See, if you want to emerge, competitive in the market. So one thing is you need to have patience and you need to apply. These two things you have to follow, sir. So it looks like this. To find the divisibility of a number between 2 and 9. Okay, the requirement is this. I am just typing here. You solve this. Project 2. This is we are doing a small hackathon process now. We are taking some problem, trying to solve it. That's how hackathon people do. Write a program. Write a program to find the divisibility of a given number between 2 and 9. To find the divisibility of a given number between what, sir? Between 2 and 9. So means, sir, this is the requirement. Now, the program prompts enter the numbers. What is that? The program prompts. You can do this also. Enter the number. Okay. The user enters like this. User enters 100. Okay. Comma 23, comma 81. So this is the project. I have completely given the problem. Okay. Now what do you have to do? Your output like this. Output has to be like this so that you get some idea. 100 colon is divisible by, okay, divisible by 2 comma. We have done such code. If you remember finding factors of a given number, such kind of logic. Okay, nothing more than that. I told you, if you people have really focused on what we have implemented so far, you can go and solve at least majority of the problems from the internet. 23 is not divisible. Next, 81 is divisible by 3 comma 9. This is the output we have to get. You got the problem? Again, now you try this, sir. You try this example now. Interesting, right? Examples are a bit interesting. Not examples, projects. Right, sir. Now, those who want to really think and improve your logical thought process, apply, implement. If you are regular touch with coding, it will take 5 minutes, not more than that. Suppose if you are in the process of evolving, if you are evolving to be a good programmer, it will take some 10 to 20 minutes. Take your time, no problem. Because this is the last one for today. Take it, solve it, take your time and put your output in the chat box, your results in the chat box, program or whatever it is. The input has to be in the same line, it has to be a string. You have to split it, same like what we have done before. See which numbers are dividing between 9 and 2 and 9, that you have to see. I have done such an example. I hope you can do it. Relax, take it, slowly think and try to implement. You have more than enough time, sufficient. So finished it, guys. So do you want me to try this? Shall I try this? Okay, then let me try it. So the input can be any numbers. It's not like this. The requirement is this. Okay. You can modify the same program, and the numbers which we have to divide are between the divisors are between 9 and 2 and 9. So you have to make sure you are iterating 2 through 9. First thing, open your code and close this. So this is fine. Until this point it's fine. Then this time, not this, get x first. X is your number, and you have to check this number is divisible from 2 to 9. Means what you have to do for I in sorry, yes, for I in range of 2 comma I should take up to what? You can use range function 2 comma 10. So the starting is 2 and it will end with the 10. Okay. Means it will take up to 9, right? Colon. It iterates from 2 to 9. And then now what you have to do for this x, you should find whether x is divisible by all these numbers from 2 to 9. So what you have to do? So if you want to check whether it is divisible or not, divide that x from 2 to 9. Means if x percentile I equal to 0, okay, colon, what you have to do? He has given output format. What is he is demanding? 100 is divisible by 2450. See, again he is asking what all different numbers are dividing this. Your output has to be like this. It's not like 100 is divisible by 2, 100 is divisible by 4, 100 is divisible by 5. You have to get it in one shot. Okay, then what you have to do? You have to collect all the divisors which are dividing this 100 into some collection. Then you have to display it. So what do you do right now? See how much learning is there here. If you really want to learn, so this small programs also so much of information. So you do one thing. First of all, define one simple collection. So what do you do right now? If I should get in the same output form, you take one string, otherwise string equal to nothing, just give some, don't give anything, some empty here, not even empty. I don't want to be empty. Okay, give it empty, no problem. I'll try this. Let me try this. If x is due, you know how to concat something to a string, right? str, I'll try Shiva, let me try from my side also. Str plus yeah, it will throw error because it is an integer, right? You have to convert it to string again while concatenating. So you have to say str of I. This is what you have to do. str equal to even this is not going to give us we need 1 2 3 like that. Yes, okay. So what I'll do is str plus okay, you can have some space also because as it is allowed. So str plus I. Then after that, what should I do? I have to append a comma. I think now I think you don't get error, Shiva, because that I is an integer, right? Yes or no? You cannot directly concat integer with string in Python. I told this in the beginning when I discussed string topic. So convert that to string and concatenate. I hope this time it will work. Okay. Now after that, you can say print. Which one? X is, after completing iterating that, X is 1 minute. X comma is divisible by, what is that? Str comma str. First, let me run this. Then I will add some more thing, because development happens in phase wise, isn't it or not? It happens in different phases. So this is phase one. I'm just testing it. I have developed a level 1 code, and I just want to see what's the I'm getting for this. Input 100 comma 23 comma, what is the other one? 81. Okay. 81. Okay. str object is not callable. Okay. Right. There is something I can do here. Small change. Do a small change. S1. 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 String is a class, right? So nothing to worry. Now let me try this then. Maybe if it is getting confused with the class name, I'm just trying it. That's what I told you, right? 100 comma 83 comma 23 comma 81. Of course. 100 is divisible by, okay, what is it doing there? Okay, here, if you see here, I am printing class. I should print S1. Now you get some output. Let me try this. 100 comma 23 comma 81. Of course. So first one is perfect, right? Up to 100. Am I getting the expected output? I need to tune it. I know. Am I getting perfect output or not? See here, folks. Now, do you get any error? Shiva, what I have to do? Once one complete iteration is done, again I have to reset this string to space. I should not continue like that. So I should say S1 equal to, again, at the end I should put it to space. Okay. And also I have to do a small validation. What is that? If suppose 23 is there, 23 is not divisible between 2 and 9, isn't it or not? Then what should I do? I have to check I have to do a small validation. What is that? If it is still empty, if it is not divisible by any number, then this string will be empty, because I am collecting all the divisors, concatenating with string now. Are you following? So what should I do? I should do a small validation check. If it is not, if it is still empty, means that number is not having any factors, so nothing is dividing. Got it right? So that is not divisible by any divisor. Are you following what I am trying to tell you? Okay, I'll check it, Shiva. Let me finish this. Let me finish it. Okay. So meanwhile, you should do one thing. You should reset to this to some space. Again, you get a, what is that? I think this string better you declare after this. That is actually the best choice for us. Now after this, even I'm concatenating completely. Okay, this is fine. Okay, Vinod, sure. I will do that. Okay, don't worry about it. If S1 equal to. I'll just try like this otherwise. Let me run this first of all. This time I am expecting a more better output. 100, 83, sorry, 23, 81. Can you see that? Now I think I have almost tuned the previous code to this. I almost reached at least 70% I have tuned my code. Last phase. I'm just making it perfect this time. What is that? Simple. Before printing, I'm doing a small check. If S1, okay, not, what is not equal to in Python? S1 not equal to space, then divisible, else, okay, let me just try this. Else, I'm just tuning the code, okay. X1 is not divisible, that's all. So let me run this now. 100, 23, 80. I think not is. Let me run it once. This is the final touch, finishing touch. 100, 23, 81. 23 is divisible by that, we should not get it, okay. Getting otherwise I'll just simplify. X1 is space, is still a space. So also I have given some space, okay, that's why it's not taking. That's the reason. So X1 is not divisible, else X is a, we can do it code in different ways, sir. X is divisible by, okay, then S1 could come here. I think we almost solved it in the code. There is some error here. Put end the codes here. Just run it. 100, 43, 80. Perfect, right? Is this what we are expecting? Naveen, is that guy there who asked me the problem? Okay. Got the output? The similar way? So this is what the expectation is. Did we meet the expectation or not? Of course, small change, that colons you can change in the here. Here you can say simply x colon. Okay. Here also colon. That's all. It will work. Over. Now run it. 100, 23, 81. Got it right? If you don't want space, if you want colon immediately also, that's not a big issue. We can make it. Understood? Small minute things. If you want to be exactly same, then we'll see in that. Okay. So that is the how you can deal with the. You can solve like this. You can see out of 3 questions I solved 2. One more also I can solve. It's related to the file. Now I can get a job. Naveen, what do you say? Can I get a job in your company now? Of course, already I am working, no, don't worry. I'm just kidding, okay? So this is output, okay, program again for that problem solving. So now you tell me, Shiva, what is your issue? Is it clear, guys? Is it clear for all of you? Say yes or no, sir. Give me your, okay. Got some clarity? Understood like how we can play with different, different concepts. Suppose if you are really good with fundamentals, the only point is whenever there is a problem, then you should understand what to apply in that problem to solve it. For that, you if you are genius, it's not enough. First, you should be very clear with the basic level. Fundamentals, if you are clear, then we can solve. Okay, fine. Shiva is asking me, he has some issue. He is asking me to run his code. Okay. Okay, Shiva, I'll do something here for you. Okay, this is your code, Shiva. Is this your code, Shiva?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. You split it properly. I can see that. Temp you can keep inside instead of keeping outside.
But it doesn't affect, right, sir?
Yeah, but it will affect definitely.
I mean, we are
Sure.
reinitializing at the end, resetting at the end.
Yeah. While resetting, there is an effect there, isn't it?
No, can you run this code? It is throwing error at the string function.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
run
fix
this
it.
code. Yeah.
Sure, we'll fix it. See, if you are keeping here, again you are keeping here also, right? Can you see? To reset it.
Yes. Yes.
Suppose you see. 1 minute. What happened to this? Okay, let me copy and paste it again. Suppose if you want to still make it much more tuned, if you want to tune it better, I'm not saying you are doing, you are not correct. You are doing great job. But if you keep here, again, you don't need another resetting.
Yeah.
See, you don't need this first thing. Remove it. Okay. Then next one, 2, 10, that's fine. Int of I, that is also fine. Temp equal to temp plus str of r. Okay. X is divisible by 10. Okay, let me run it and see. Enter values 100, 23, 81. Okay. Str of our object is not callable. Okay, let me just try this.
Can you move that print statement to align with the indentation of nested inner for loop? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it has to be here, no doubt. And you are getting error here, right? X percentile r equal to 0. Okay. Then temp equal to temp plus str of. See, this is the mistake, Shiva.
Okay.
You have to say str of. Okay, that is also correct. 1 minute. I'm sorry. I is your values. Okay. You are concatenating all your inputs. That is perfect. So you are saying Problem starts here, Shiva. Can you see here?
Yes. Oh,
See, this is a built-in class. It is assuming it has a built-in class. Got it right?
got it, sir. Yeah, yeah.
So that's the issue. Understood? Now I think your problem will be solved.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Okay. Then okay, what you have to do is this time it should work. 99% it will work. Got it right?
Yeah.
You have to tune it, of course. Okay.
Okay.
But you figured out your issue, right? Be
Yeah,
careful
yes, sir.
when you are naming your variable. I told this point very clearly. Don't name your variables as built-in class names or built-in function names. This
Yeah,
is what happens. This is what happens. Got it right?
yeah,
Sometimes we by mistake assign it. We forget that it is a built-in, and we might be thinking something else. That is the issue. Got it right?
yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Any more questions from anyone? Vinod Krishnan is asking. Vinod is there, right? Are you there, Vinod Krishnan? I don't know if he's has left or not. Okay, if you are there, then I will copy and you want problems, right? So this is problem 1. This is project 2. Okay, is it fine, Vinod? So I'll upload in the YouTube this video. Keep spreading the good work to other friends. Ask them if they want any help when we go through our video channel. Might be ask them to attend classes if possible. You need the solution also. Okay, you told no. Okay, I'm having giving solutions to. Yeah, that please mute that. Somebody is I don't know, somebody is unmuted your machine. Fine. That's all, guys. That's for today. Any more questions? We'll meet next week. Any other questions, sir? See, I tried to answer most of your questions, whomever is asking. Next week, we continue with the functions, sir. There is a lot of stuff in functions. We will just implement as many programs as possible, like today. Okay. Once if we reach some level, once I finish core Python completely, 1 week, one day from morning to evening, we keep on solving as many problems as possible. Are you fine with that? It is like a codeathon. See, you have to be patient. You should come with that fire. Okay. So if you have that enthusiasm, if you show that to me, then definitely there is no limit for us. We keep on playing with as many problems as possible. That is the agenda. That is what I thought to do.